bearings because they won't fit on the crank. The crank has been in the freezer now for 24 hours. The bearings, we are going to put them in the oven. We are going to heat them up to about 60 degrees. Now, a lot of people say, don't heat your bearings. My attitude is, what do you think's happening with the bearings every time you start the engine? They're going from about 0 to 60. So I say phooey. Heat the bearings up a little, just to get them warm, not so warm you can't touch them. And so they'll be going in the oven, and then we shall continue. For this operation, we need something solid to support the crank half and half while we tap the bearings on, so that the side that we're putting the bearing on is supported. A bit of cloth so that the crank doesn't move around. The crank comes out of the freezer. Swift work helps. Put it on the anvil. One of our warm bearings, as you can see, it's not so warm I can't touch it. And we're going to tap it on. As you can see, we've got a spacer. So we're tapping on the inner race, which exerts no pressure whatsoever on the outer race. Make sure it's all the way on, otherwise your engine will push it all the way on for you, thus squiffing your crank. And there we are. We're ready to carry on. Getting hot now. Remember our useful precision tool. Don't put the crank in upside down like a dickhead. And there she goes. So now all we need to do is put sealant all the way around here. Don't forget our little guides. And then bolt her up. The other half is in the oven. Yes, he's hot enough. Use my finger. Don't forget the guides. There they go. There she goes. Give her a tap. Six screws. Tighten them up. Again, we're dealing with aluminium here, so don't go crazy. Makes everything look pretty. And there we go. Now, crank seals. Careful not to get any grease on the outer part because that's got to stay sticky and rubbery, but we're going to put some grease on the inner part so that it slides over the crankshaft on the crank as well. We put them on, and with our special tool we tap him home. Okay, and then the other other side. This side's a bit trickier because the seal has to go right in. Now again, grease on the other side. And as you can see, she's in and seated the same all the way around. Top tips by putting some sealant all the way around the edge so that the edge is stuck down. When that goes off, there'll be no moving it. So there we go, we're going to do the same to the other side, and that is how you install a crank and get it centered properly.